Okay, and when you say I did not specifically, do you have any personal knowledge as to who in the FBI was responsible for following up with that information?
I'm aware that there were numerous investigations going on. There was Las Vegas PD had an investigation. There were Compton PD, LA PD. There were numerous elements of investigation going on regarding the murder of Tupac Shakur, regarding Mr. Davis, our squad, and what we were investigating regarding the gang activity and the drug trafficking and the charge that he was on. I was not specifically tasked to follow up and track that down. Who did? I'm not aware of.
Now, fair to say, though, of course, if you become aware of a crime like that, you would report the information that you have to whoever the responsible investigative agency would be, right?
Correct.
You're not just going to hold on to that information and just keep it to yourself,
Correct.
Right? Or ignore it.
Correct.
So in this case, for instance, you share with us that there were wiretaps that were being done of Mr. Davis's phone during the time period that you were investigating. Do you recall that line of questioning?
Yes.
Now, a wiretap is not the same as a pen register, right?
Correct.
And just for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, pen register is just numbers that you just that you keep recording in terms of what number is calling out, what number is being received.
Correct.
And then an actual wiretap is when you listen to phone calls where people are talking on the phone without you telling them that you're doing so, right?
Correct.
So with regards to the information that you received and the phone calls that you had, were there any phone calls at all in which this guy over here, Mr. Davis, somehow admitted or said anything along the lines of that he was either involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur or that he was even in Las Vegas on the day it happened?
So the first part of the question, no, that would be no, there was nothing. Regarding the second part, being in Las Vegas, I believe my recollection is that there was conversation about being in Vegas and coming back to Vegas after the incident, the incident being the murder of Tupac Shakur, but that was it.
Okay, and once again, I don't want to put any real pressure on you. This is 30 years ago.
Right.
So in terms of that kind of information, that would have been at least given to somebody that would have been interested in knowing whether or not, Duane Davis was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting of Tupac Shakur. Fair?
Yes.
And as far as you can recall, without looking at any notes to refresh your recollection here, that was never done.
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Did you personally ever make any calls to either Las Vegas Metro, LAPD, or Compton PD specifically about, hey, there's information here that Keffe was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting? Was there anything like that?
So you asked the question and then you said something, then you asked a different. Could you please?
Is that the FBI answer to the question? Let me break it up. Did you ever make any calls to Las Vegas Metropolitan Police to say, hey, we've got some information here that Duane Davis, no. Did you ever make any calls specifically to LAPD to say, hey, I've got this guy on the phone, or he's making some discussions here that he was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
No, I didn't make any calls like that.
And then I'm assuming with regards to Compton PD, did you ever call Compton to talk to somebody like, I don't know, Reggie Wright Sr., the gang guy over there, to say, hey, by the way, one of the guys from your community is saying that he was in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
No, I did not.
And I appreciate you breaking that down because I didn't want the jury as well to be confused. Now, in addition to that, you had made mention about the type of volume here, or what the type of volume that Mr. Davis was moving in terms of drugs. I want to make sure I'm clear. What kind of drugs are we talking about?
Cocaine.
Okay. And can you tell us, just in volume, what kind of volume that Mr. Davis was moving at that time?
I can't. be total speculation, based off of what was said in his statements to us.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one where he said something, I believe, to the effect of like 70 kilos at one time, or that he was fronted large amount. I'd have to look. May I refer back to the report?
Sure.
Let's see here.
I know there's one for 60 kilos. I'm just want to make sure the jury understands.
Oh, I'm sorry. Primo Fine Davis, 200 kilos at one time.
Okay.
So fairly large scale.
Did you ever prove, was that ever proven to be true?
That he received that quantity of cocaine at that time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, confidential informants show up on scene, undercover police officers are there.
No, sir.
Anything like that?
No.
So it's literally what he's just telling you, right? In your 302 for this
Yes.
particular time. But no verification whether or not that was true or not.
Regarding that specific transaction, no.
Sure. Or let me make sure I'm clear here. That specific transaction of 200 kilos is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see or have any understanding of whether he was moving 300 kilos of cocaine every month as a drug dealer?
Did
you ever get any information indicating that he was moving 300 kilograms of cocaine every month?
I did not have that kind of specific information, no.
Now, in terms of Reggie Wright Jr., was there, I would assume that because it's not part of your area, did you refer that information to whoever it is that was part of the task force that would have covered the Compton area?
That would be most likely, yes.
Okay. And in terms of the Compton Police Department, fair to say that at some point they actually disbanded or they were shut down?
Yes, that's accurate.
And that would have been at what year,
I
roughly?
don't remember specifically. It was somewhere in the late 90s, I believe, or early 2000 period.
Okay. And why did they get disbanded?
I don't know these specifics. I know there was numerous allegations of corruption and such and things like that in the department. Organizational, structural problem deficiencies.
Okay. Your Honor, may I have a brief moment?
Yeah.
So you shared a little bit about the next time that you meet Mr. Davis, and that was at the prison.
Correct.
And it's you and your partner still, Special Agent Holiday?
Yes.
And you go to that meeting, and he's sitting down and having a conversation with you, right?
Mr. Davis, yes.
Yeah. And I want to make sure I'm clear. How much did you actually arrest him with in terms of the cocaine that he had? I mean, I'm assuming at some point he gets caught with cocaine, right?
That's incorrect. No.
Okay, so what happens?
So are you specific the specific case that we had him charged with
Yes.
and arrested? Actually, no, he was not caught with any actual cocaine. We intercepted conversations between him and another individual where they discussed a transaction before, the price, quantity, and then there were discussions after the delivery, and then there was even discussion. What kind of prompted more of the discussion? There was the two individuals had, Mr. Davis and the other individual had a discrepancy over the quantity, the actual volume of the amount of cocaine.
Okay. And outside of that, nothing to your recollection that was more specific about anything to do with cocaine. Like, he never actually got caught with it. He was just having conversations about it?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, in addition to that, when you're part of the task force, you are looking for potential issues with regards to violence. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in this particular case, had you ever come across any information in your wiretaps or anything like that of Mr. Davis putting out a hit on someone or green lighting some type of violent act to be caused against somebody?
No.
No. And that would have been part of it would have been maybe an enhancement under the sentencing guidelines in terms of if you're looking at increasing his amount of time is that, hey, he's also doing something in furtherance of, his self.
Violent activity and things of that nature, we would definitely be looking for, yes.
Right, and in this particular case, you don't have any proof of that at all? No facts to that?
Of him being violent?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Now, there's a discussion here that Darnell Brin was identified as potentially the leader of the South Side Crips. You recall that? It should be at
Yes.
the end of the second 302 that you have.
Yes.
Now, in terms of that, did you ever verify that information as to whether or not Mr. Davis was lying or not about that?
No, I did not personally verify that. No.
And so as of this particular moment, as you're sitting here right now, do you have any facts at all that establishes that Mr. Davis was a shot caller or the leader of the Southside Crips?
Could you repeat that the way you phrased
Meaning,
it?
do you have any facts? Do you have something that says he said out on the phone, I don't know what they do. They attended a meeting. I mean, it's like,
No, I mean, with these gang organizations, there's not like membership cards and things of that nature. It's not like they've got a organized org chart of who is the president, vice president, and this and that nature for the most part. A lot of times it is just word on the street, who runs this area, who's in charge. And it was the way we assessed that Mr. Davis was one of the leaders of the South Side Compton Crips was the totality of information we'd received from numerous informants, witness statements, and things of that nature,
And so-
wiretaps and things of that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. You done?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would imagine that because Mr. Davis was a drug dealer, that the money that he was bringing in was probably the reason why he was considered to be a leader in the Southside Crips.
Because of the money that he was bringing in.
Well, I mean the drugs, right? I mean that's
Well, the
really
volume
value.
of drugs. Yeah, the leader, the guys who are moving the most weight, the high volume drug sales are going to be generally speaking, the leaders.
Right.
They're the ones that the other guys are going to go to get their quantities and things like that for sales.
Sure. And in this particular case, that's the presumption, right? It's because Mr. Davis was a drug dealer, he would be considered with some status within the Southside Crips.
Well, I wouldn't call it a presumption. Again, it's a totality of statements from other individuals and the information that we got. I mean, it wasn't the fact that he was a drug dealer that all of a sudden alerted us and said he must be a high-level Southside Compton Crip. It was a totality of information from our investigation.
Sure. Now, the word presumption, what does that mean, by the way?
Presumption that you presume, you're making an assumption.
But it's a little bit better than that, right? There are some facts that support whatever it is that you are throwing out there as the...
That can be the case, yes.
Now, in this particular regard, you talk a little bit about the Lakewood incident, right? It's in your report, I think, and I want to make sure on your 302, this would be... And, sir, if you run across it before I do, this would be page 4 of your 302, the date 7/14/98. Do you see where I'm at? It would be maybe the third, the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph down.
The Lakewood, are you referring to at the mall?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
In terms of your presumption, the idea of the presumption, you're telling us that there is some facts that help you to have that presumption, right? Some facts. Can you tell us what facts you have to support that there was even a Lakewood incident that occurred?
I'm sorry, you're asking what facts?
Sure.
We have several witness statements.
Okay, so you have several witness statements. You are aware that those allegedly, and according to what you write yourself, this was a couple weeks before the murder of Tupac Shakur. Marcus, who lived at the South Side Crip neighborhood, was in a mall by himself. A number of Blood Street gang members attacked Marcus and began beating him. Orlando Anderson and then others approached the situation, observed what was happening, and then went to the aid of Marcus. They beat up the blood gang members. That's what you wrote in your 302, right?
That's for true now.
Yeah. Now, in terms of that information, did you ever go to the mall to verify that there was this thing that happened a couple weeks before the murder of Tupac Shakur, which would have been sometime in August of 1996? Did you ever do that?
No, I did not.
Now, in fairness to you, sir, Lakewood Mall and that area is governed by a police department. I don't know, is it Compton or is it the next one over? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been Compton.
Okay. So where was the next one? Did you ever, at any point, reach out to that police department to say, hey, can you get us the information on this so we can verify it before we put it into our 302 that a couple of weeks before the murder of Tupac Shakur, there was a beating that took place? Did you ever do that?
Okay, so your statement regarding doing it before we put in that was information that was provided to us by Mr. Davis. So at that time, we were just recording what Mr. Davis is telling us.
Sure.
So this is a follow-up investigation upon that.
Sure, but the state has now introduced this document in as an exhibit for the jury to consider. So you're telling us that you can't verify the information in it?
I'm telling you what Mr. Davis told us.
Okay, but you cannot verify that information. You're telling us right now you didn't verify the information that he told you.
I didn't verify that specific event.
Okay. Do you know if your partner did?
I'm not sure. If you're referring to Mr. Holliday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate yes or no.
No, and I appreciate you doing that. I don't want you to do that either. Okay. Now, Mr. Davis is in prison during this time. At some point in the future, you had mentioned that he was in there April 20th, 1999, something like that?
During the second interview, yes.
Right. Now, did you at any point ever look at his, while he was in there, how he was doing, anything like that? Any write-ups he might have had while he was in there, anything like that?
From the penitentiary?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
And then finally, just one final thing here. There was some mention in your 302, and I apologize for bouncing you back, but I'm taking you back to the July 14th, 1998 302. But in that 302, there was an allegation, or at least some information that you documented that stated that Reggie Wright Jr. Was dealing drugs out of a auto shop called the Untouchables Auto Shop, owned by Melvin Hurd. Do you recall that? That's actually on the top of page 4.
Yes.
Do you know why that's important and why you included that in your 302?
Well, activity regarding Reggie Wright Jr., Reggie Wright Sr., these individuals in Compton and things like that would have been important. They would have been documented. Mr. Davis provided us that information. So again, this is also information that would be utilized for consideration by the U.S. Attorney's Office and things like that. So all of the information is important.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, sir. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Any redirect, Mr. Straka?
Just briefly, you have both of those.
Yes.
302s in
Yes, I
person,
do.
right? So let's start with the July 14th, 98 one. It specifically says in the first paragraph, also, it was understood that the information provided by Davis during the interview would not be used by the FBI in a way which would disclose to individuals outside the FBI that the information came from Davis.
Correct.
So other FBI personnel may have learned about this, but certainly you wouldn't be calling Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and telling them, hey, guess what Duane Davis just told me?
That's correct. Yeah, there's a confidentiality portion of the proffer agreement that this is it's offered in a way to elicit information. It's saying, hey, what you tell us here is not going to be told to anybody, and we won't divulge that you're the one providing this information and things of that nature.
And you're there talking to him, in your case is about a drug case. It's not about Tupac Shakur. That just happens to be a subject that comes up in the conversation.
That's correct.
It's not your responsibility. Well, let me ask you this. Tupac Shakur is killed in the state of Nevada, the county of Clark. Who prosecutes murder cases usually for street-level shootings in Clark County?
That would be like Las Vegas Metro PD, the DA's office here in Las Vegas.
The state of Nevada. It's not a
That's
federal
correct.
crime to commit a murder in Las Vegas in most situations.
That's correct.
And so you're just gathering this information, and you did what you promised, which was keep it confidential until such time as you were authorized by the U.S. Attorney
Right.
to talk about it. The only other thing I want to ask you about is Mr. Sept there is a difference between proffer and immunity. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What Mr. Davis was telling you, you wouldn't use against him, correct?
Correct.
There wasn't any sort of immunity for any crimes that he disclosed. You just couldn't use the statements that he made to you to prosecute him for those particular crimes.
That's correct.
And that was an agreement between the United States Attorney's Office and Mr. Davis.
That's correct.
At no point in here did the state of Nevada, the Clark County District Attorney's Office, or any agency other than the U.S. Attorney's Office make an agreement with Mr. Davis about these 302s.
That's correct.
Nothing further.
Any recross based on that, Mr. Sept?
I'm sorry, what was that last question again? I'm trying to figure that out. Hey, so you're telling us, you're giving us information right now about your knowledge of what the other law enforcement agencies had agreements on or not? How do you know that?
I didn't give that information. I didn't say that.
So can we repeat that last question?
We don't have
All right,
that
well,
capability. We can
Let me-
pause and show you.
No, that's all right. I just want to get to the point. What Mr. DiGiacomo just asked you was that, there were no other agreements with regard to your agreement. Your agreement was the sole agreement between yourself and Mr. Davis, or FBI and Mr. Davis, and no other
The United
entity.
States Attorney's Office of Mr. Davis.
I apologize. The United States Attorney's Office and Mr. Davis, and no other entity, right? I think that's how it was put,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You don't know that, though. Did you, when you... What?
Sustained stricken, you can ask a question.
You are not aware of any agreements with other agencies because you just don't know. You are just here on behalf of the federal government and the FBI, right?
With regard to the interview that myself and Todd Holliday conducted
Right.
with Mr. Davis on July 14th, 1998, the agreement was between the United States Attorney's Office with the FBI there and Mr. Davis. Nobody else was party to that.
Even though this was a joint task force, this was part of
No, it was a joint task force. It was the United States Attorney's Office, the FBI, Mr. Davis.
Okay. And with regards to that task force, even though other government agencies were potentially involved in the task force, they weren't involved with regards to this agreement, the proffer. They weren't part of the proffer, is what you're saying, even though it's part of the task force.
Correct.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
Anything further, Mr. DiGiacomo? No. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? We do have some. Questions from our jurors. If the proper information was never followed up on, what was the motivation behind the interview in jail or prison?
You want me? Go ahead. Answer.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
answer.
Okay. They have these questions. I'm
Right.
asking you to answer them.
Okay, so the motivation behind the interview in the subsequent interview in '99, we were following up on other investigation. Because when you go through the 302, you see we asked about several individuals, and we actually showed them pictures of other individuals. A lot of times what we'll do is we were going back because he was cooperative and open before, we were attempting to see, he would verify other individuals, perhaps identities and things of that nature, of other investigative activity regarding gang activity in the area.
Okay. And then did anyone with the FBI verify information given by Davis in the proffer?
I mean, regarding the totality of there was quite a bit of information when we asked about certain individuals and things that he said that we already knew. So because he provided information during the proffer session, there wasn't a need to necessarily go back and verify because we had an idea about the answer to the question. Sort of like you ask a question that you know the answer to, that's how you know if somebody's lying. You start off with that, things like that, simple things, and then you kind of work your way in to other information. So there was a lot of information that we already had other corroborated information on. So when he's providing that information, we have a general idea whether or not he's being open and candor and truthful based off of other investigation, whether it's surveillance, wiretaps, witness statements, and things of that nature.
And you might have already answered this, but it's the second part of the question, so I'm going to ask it. What information was followed up on by the FBI that was given in Davis's proffer, if you're able to disclose it?
What
information was followed up on by the FBI that was given in Davis's proffer that you're able to disclose?
So, I mean, it's been 30 years. It'd be very difficult for me to follow up on every single aspect. Again, a lot of the information, because it's historical, some of these things that he's talking about went back several years prior to into the early 90s period. So he's talking about, prior drug transactions and things of that nature. Is very difficult or almost impossible to truly verify those types of things. Other things that he talked about, for example, like recordings that were played or photos that he was shown of individuals where he identified and said, this is so-and-so, that corroborates what, individuals that we know and things of that nature. So there were things that were done. Was there a specific checklist, tasking list that was put out after that interview, the proper interview, to go out and say, go verify? That's really not the way we operate. Usually these files have hundreds of documents in them over the course of an investigation. There's hours and hours and countless hours of wiretaps and things of that nature. So we've got a very voluminous amount of information to go back and check and things that along the way. So at this point, he was already indicted, arrested, and basically going towards either trial or sentencing. The proffer agreement really was an opportunity for him to help himself on sentencing. And then for us to maybe, if he wanted to cooperate and things like that, to possibly open up further avenues of investigation for other individuals who weren't in custody or that were still under investigation.
All right. Mr. DiGiacomo, any follow-up based on those answers and those questions? Mr. Sept?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. You are free to go. Thank you so much. Sorry. Just leave them right there. Mr. DiGiacomo will pick them up.
I'll grab them from you. Thank you.
Are those our exhibits? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, for sure. All right, statement call the next witness.
Darren Dupree.
Your Honor, before we do that, Mayor, a question.
Sure. All right, at this time we are going to take a restroom break for 15 minutes. During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected to this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected to the trial until the case is submitted to you. We'll have you guys back here at 3:15. Please rise for the jury. record, the jury has exited the room. We'll be in recess.
Thank you.
Back on record in State versus Davis, C-377-407. Anything we need to address before bringing the jury in?
No, Your
Okay, bring them in.
Stand for the jury.
Did you line them up? We're waiting for them. Okay. The party stipulates to the presence of the jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated. All right, now the state can call their next witness.
Darren.
Good afternoon. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You may be seated. And if you please state your full name and then spell it for the record.
Daryn, D-A-R-Y-N, Dupree, D-U-P-R-E-E.
Thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready to state, you may proceed.
Thank you. Sir, how did you used to be employed?
I was a detective for the Los Angeles Police Department,
How long were you with the LAPD?
33 and a half years,
And when did you start?
in 1990.
And through the majority of your career, what kind of crimes did you focus on?
Homicides, gang homicides.
And direct your attention to approximately 2006. Were you asked to be part of a task force related to the Christopher Wallace murder?
Yes, I was.
And can you describe that task force for us?
Robbery homicide, homicide specials, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, FBI, ATF, and DEA were all a part of the task force.
And was there a precipitating event that caused the 2006 task force to be formed?
Yeah, Christopher Wallace's mother filed a lawsuit against the Los Angeles Police Department
And what was the allegation in the lawsuit?
that there was police officer involvement in his death.
LA police officer involvement?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of the 2006 task force?
To uncover, first of all, if there was any police officer involvement, and also to hopefully solve the Biggie Smalls murder case.
Now, by 2008, this is 11 years after the homicide. I assume that there was records that the LAPD would have gathered initially in the investigation in the ensuing 11 years that you had access to.
Yes.
Did you guys, or did the task force formulate a plan as to how you were going to go about investigating the Christopher Wallace murder?
Yeah. There was rumors that this was a war between South Side Compton Crips and Mob Piru. Puffy Combs labeled Bad Boy and Death Row Records. So we started there, and that consisted of coming to Vegas, getting all their files, getting up to speed on the Tupac murder. Although we weren't investigating it, we just wanted to get up to speed on it. And then starting there, everybody was a suspect at that time in Biggie Smalls murder.
At the time you come to Vegas and learn what information the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has, who is the detective that you're having the contact with? You begin investigating. Did you have any suspects that you identified and wanted to potentially look at?
From the initial investigation, South Side Compton Crips possibly had something to do with the murder because they weren't paid for the Tupac murder, and then also Death Row Records, that they were involved because of the retaliation for the Tupac murder. So, like I said, everybody was a suspect at that time.
During the course of the investigation, did you at some point focus on a person identified as Duane Davis?
Yes,
Do you see Mr. Davis here in court today?
yes.
You point him out, describe something he's wearing.
He's at the defense table with a blue shirt and a multicolored tie.
May the record reflect the identification of the defendant.
Is he wearing a jacket or no jacket?
No jacket.
So reflected.
How is it that, well,
The vehicle used in the Christopher Wallace murder was a Impala. Mr. Davis had an Impala, and they had impounded it early on in the investigation. So we started with him.
and did you have information related to what his position was in the South Side Crips?
I mean, we knew that Mr. Davis was the man with all the money in their hood, in their neighborhood.
Now, you said that you, well, what was your role in the task force?
I was the lowest level, bottom of the food chain detective. I was a gang expert, and I knew a little bit about the rap industry. So that was my,
That's how you got brought in.
yes.
The South Side Crips, did they have kind of two crews associated with them?
As far as I know, yes.
And one of those crews, the Burris Street crew, who was that sort of generally headed by?
It was Keffe D, amongst others.
The Glencoe crew, who was sort of the leader of that group?
From what we gathered, Darnell Grimm.
How is it that you're going to go about investigating Mr. Davis for the Biggie Smalls murder? What's your plan?
I had never worked with the DEA, FBI. I was a homicide investigator coming in. So above my pay grade, they tried to figure out a way to get leverage on Mr. Davis through narcotic sales. We would bring him in after we caught him with narcotics and see if he would work with us and give us information on the Biggie Smalls case.
And were you able to gather enough information to potentially arrest and charge him with narcotics?
Yes.
And how much narcotics are we talking about here?
From what I remember, it was PCP.
And so there was an agreement in that first meeting that this would be a proffer.
Yes.
And during the course of that, do you ask Mr. Davis about his involvement in the Biggie Smalls murder?
Yes.
And what is his response?
At that time, he said, no, we didn't have anything to do with that.
When he said, we didn't have anything to do with that one, did that trigger anything in your mind as to what he was saying?
When I recall, yes, we were like, that one, what do you mean? And then he
What was
said,
it?
we did the other one.
He said, we did the other one. And so, at that point, what did you think he was talking about?
Me personally, the only other one was Tupac. But we had nothing, we didn't think we were talking about Christopher Wallace. We didn't ask him any questions about Tupac. He offered that on his own.
And so when he does that, is there some discussion then of maybe having a conversation about Tupac?
It was a surprise to us. Number one, we were shook. We were surprised. Yes. I mean, I don't know if we shut that meeting down then to discuss what we were going to do. I don't remember, but we were surprised.
Does there come a point in time when there's a meeting set for December 18th of 2008 to talk to Mr. Davis about the Tupac Shakur murder?
Yes.
In your understanding, was that still based upon the agreement between Wayne Higgins and the U.S. Attorney that it would be a proffer session?
Yes.
At that point, before having this conversation with Mr. Davis, has anybody notified Las Vegas that Mr. Davis is going to be talking about the Tupac Shakur murder?
Unfortunately, no.
Were you present on December 18th for an interview with Mr. Davis about the Tupac Shakur murder?
Yes.
And did you subsequently learn, or previously learn, but subsequently learn that that conversation was recorded?
Yes.
Do you know who recorded that statement?
One of the members of the task force, Bill Holcomb.
Did there come a point in time where you heard that recording?
Yes.
And Judge, I have marked as state proposed exhibit 117, which is the actual recording, and 110, which is the transcript of that recording, and I'll form it this time.
Any objection?
I think this briefing currently still lacking foundation with regard to that. The answer, the question that was asked was like, do you recognize the recording?
Okay, do you want to play
I can play part of
Maybe
that
the
recording
first
for Detective.
a couple
Duke.
seconds and see if he recognizes it?
Yeah, there's
Not gonna
some
take-
walking in time, so we'll just
Well,
have to pull it
when
forward.
people
a little
actually
bit.
talk.
Yeah. I'll just jump forward. Hopefully. My volume off?
People or his associates, that's not a concern to us.
Yeah.
If you hadn't told Mike, we would have talked to him. We wouldn't want to talk to him.
Okay, another,
Does that sound like the conversation that was happening on December 18th, 2008 with Mr. Davis?
Yes.
And who was present at this besides yourself that you recall?
The lead detective, Detective Greg Kading, he was mostly in charge. Bill Holcomb and me, that's all I can remember.
Was Wayne Higgins present as well?
Wayne Higgins was there, and I'm sorry, so was Mr. Davis, of course.
And do you recall where this conversation took place?
It might have been at Wayne Higgins' office.
As I once again reoffer 117 and 110.
Did you want to show him 110 to verify that is the transcript of it?
Oh, you want me to?
Well, that was the objection, was that
Oh,
the foundation wasn't accurate, and we talked about the first item, but not the second.
take a look at that. You can read through as much as it is you need to. That appear to be a transcription of that particular meeting.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's it.
Move to admit 110 and 117. The jury is gonna hear the entire thing at some point. But generally speaking, what was Mr. Davis's version of events as it relates to what happened with Tupac Shakur?
Mr. Davis stated that his nephew, Mr. Orlando Anderson, was jumped and beat up in a club or in a hotel in Las Vegas after the Tyson fight. He came and told Mr. Davis what happened. They went looking for Tupac, Suge, anybody who was involved, basically, in the beatdown of Mr. Anderson. And they couldn't find him at first, and then they saw him, and basically Mr. Davis had the gun at first, but they came up on the passenger side of Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur's vehicle, so he couldn't shoot across the driver. So he handed the gun to Dre in the back seat, Andre Smith. He was afraid to shoot. Mr. Anderson grabbed the gun and shot across Mr. Smith into Mr. Knight's car that Mr. Tupac Shakur was in with Mr. Knight.
And did he tell you what kind of vehicle he was in?
He was in a white Cadillac,
Did he tell you what kind of gun was used?
a 40 cal Glock.
And did he tell you after the shooting where the car went? If you recall. If you don't recall.
I don't recall.
After receiving this information in March of 2009, does the task force sign Mr. Davis up as a confidential informant?
Yes.
And once you sign him up as a confidential informant, what is it that you want to do with Mr. Davis?
Figure out ways to see if he's telling the truth about his story about what happened.
And so what do you do?
Mr. Davis had a narcotics friend in New York by the name of Equan Williams, Zip. He said he could, this is a lot deeper than that. Sean Puffy Combs was supposed to have given money to Zip Martin to give to Mr. Davis for payment of the Tupac murder. Fast forward, we go to Mr. Davis. He says he can rekindle that relationship with Mr. Zip Martin and get him to talk about the money that was given from Sean Puffy Combs to Mr. Martin that never got to Mr. Davis.
And did you guys, or Mr. Davis, come up with a plan to get leverage on Mr. Williams, Zip? And what was the idea?
Me, Detective Kading, ATF Jim Black, and Keffe D, Mr. Davis, flew to New York so Mr. Davis can work undercover to try to rekindle that friendship and business relationship with Zip.
And when Mr. Davis goes in to, do you remember the name of the club?
It's called the Zip Code in Harlem.
Does he in fact meet with Zip?
Zip, he did, but from what we gathered from Mr. Davis told us, he passed him off to his nephew, meaning Zip passed him off to his nephew to do business with him. Zip had cancer or something like that. He was sickly. He said he wasn't in the business no more, something like that. So it didn't work.
So he was unable to reestablish a business relationship and do a drug deal with Zip so that you would have leverage to then talk to Zip about what Mr. Davis
Objection,
told
Your Honor, leave.
I'm just confirming the information
Your
you just
response?
provided. What?
You're just confirming that the information that you just were provided is what?
I'm just confirming the information that he just testified to.
So then, overruled. You may answer.
Yes, he couldn't rekindle the relationship.
And so you come back from New York.
Yes.
At some point, does the LAPD establish whether or not LAPD officers were involved in the murder of Mr. Wallace?
We found out that there was not any police officer involved.
And eventually, Mrs. Wallace's lawsuit is resolved.
Yes, it does.
At some point, are you directed to attend a meeting involving Wayne Higgins, Duane Davis, and Dan Long, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department investigator on Tupac Shakur?
Yes.
And on September 9th of 2009, did you in fact attend that interview?
Yes.
And was that recorded?
Yes.
This morning, did you listen to portions of that to confirm that is in fact a copy of the 2009 audio recording?
Yes.
And if I approach you, I forgot this one. Showing you. Forgot this one. Showing you 111, if you flip that over, take a look at it. Does that appear to be a transcript of that 2009 interview?
Yes.
Move to admit 111 and 118.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
Finally, and I forgot to do this, during the conversation on December 18th of 2008, did you have some sort of chart that was put in front of Mr. Davis where he identified where people were in various vehicles?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as state's proposed exhibit number 147. Is that a copy of the chart that you had prior to the December 18th, 2008?
Yes.
Move to admit.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted.
Thank you, sir. I pass the witness.
Cross-examination, Mr. Sept.
It's 2.5 hours. I'm not going to play with him on the stand.
Mr. Dupree, sorry. We had some conversations here about what you did on this case. Did you ever write any reports on this?
Sure I did, yeah.
When you say you're sure did you review any reports in preparation for your testimony here today?
I think I reviewed one report.
Which report did you review?
It was a DEA 6 passing the case over to Las Vegas Metro.
And with regards to that report, did you draft that report yourself?
Yes.
When you say it's a DEA 6, is that a form?
Yes.
Is that a form used by the DEA agency, I guess would be the Drug Enforcement Agency?
Yes.
Did you write any reports on your own with regards to what you did within the LAPD, umbrella or report writing?
I'm sure I did.
When you say you sure did, are you telling us today that you don't know for sure what reports you wrote?
I'm saying that when you have a cold case, a lot of reports are already written. So you interview people and you do a statement on it, but the majority, this was 2006 when we started, the murders happened in 1996 and 97, so a lot of the reports were already written.
So with regards to, you're classifying this as a cold case?
Yes.
And what is a cold case to you?
It's a case that takes a long time to solve.
And with regard to the cold case, which are you talking specifically about the murder here, the murder investigation of Tupac Shakur?
I'm talking about what we classified Christopher Wallace's case. I don't know if they classified Tupac a cold case at that time.
I see. So you were part of the task force specifically on Biggie Smalls, we just call it Biggie Smalls.
That's why we started the task force, because of the lawsuit.
All right, and you are classifying that as the cold case.
Yes.
So all your work would have been under the Biggie Smalls investigation, not necessarily under the Tupac case that we're here for today.
Yes.
And so with regard to your actions on the Biggie Smalls case, a lot of what you're doing sort of blends into, at least some of it blends into the Tupac investigation, but that wasn't your investigation.
No.
That was Metro's investigation.
Yes.
Now, on the day that we're talking about here, and this would be under the recordings that you had from the 2008 proffer,
Did you set those up?
No.
Who set them up?
Probably the lead investigator, Greg Kading.
Okay, and with regards to Greg Kading, you're his partner.
In a task force configuration, you might peel off with one person more than the other, so I would say me and him did a lot of work together.
And with regards to what he is that he's also a fellow LAPD detective.
Yes.
All right. And so with regards to your being, let's say not part of the task force, were you ever his partner outside of the task force?
I met Detective Kading at Wilshire Homicide. Wilshire Homicide is the area that Christopher Wallace was actually killed in. Robbie Homicide inherited the case or took the case because they had more resources to work. Me and Greg worked together at Wilshire Homicide. Greg Kading started this task force, and he brought me over years later to this task force.
I see. So up until that point when he brought you over, you guys weren't partners?
No, he was working narcotics. Greg knows the narcotics FBI, DEA system very well. I didn't.
All right. And so in terms of your awareness about the Tupac investigation, when were you first made aware of the Tupac investigation?
It was through the media as soon as it happened.
Right.
I mean, everybody knew about that.
And in terms of, though, your involvement or the official, are you telling us it's at the time of the proffer that you become sort of more involved in the Tupac?
At the time that Mr. Davis offered the information that he offered is when we even thought about doing anything with Tupac.
But isn't it true, though, that you actually were more aware, that Detective Long was the Metro detective on this case as early as 2004?
I didn't start it until 2006, so I just knew he was the investigator assigned to the case when I got there.
I see. So as of 2006, you would have been aware that Detective Long was the investigator from Metro?
Maybe 2006, 2007, when we decided to come out to Vegas and gather intel on the Tupac case, just for investigative reasons.
Okay. And with regards to your participation in the task force, was there a name for the task force?
Christopher Wallace Task Force.
Okay, so it's the Christopher Wallace Task Force. And you first contact Mr. Davis on, looks like November 21st, 2008. Is that about right?
I don't remember the dates, but...
Okay. Now, in terms of your, you're saying, though, that your review of the evidence in preparation for today's, or your reports in preparation for today's testimony just consisted of the DEA 6 form?
Yes.
Now, at the time of November 21st, 2008, you and Greg Kading are the ones who initially contacted Mr. Davis, right? You didn't do it by yourself.
No, me and Mr. Kading.
Okay, and you basically advised him at that particular point that, he was potentially looking at an indictment for narcotics. Is that right?
Something to that effect, yes.
Yeah. And once again, you're doing this because you are targeting Mr. Davis because you believe he may have been a suspect in the Biggie Smalls murder.
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point, I would assume in the future, you're going to tell all of us that he was no longer a suspect in that murder, right?
That is correct.
You found information that were indicating that the car that was potentially the car used in the Biggie Smalls murder was not his vehicle, maybe somebody else was there. And there were some issues with regards to his location that he wouldn't have been the one to be the shooter in the case.
Whatever the reasons, I just know he wasn't involved in the Biggie Smalls murder.
Okay. And then with regards to your conversation with Mr. Davis, when you had that conversation at his home, you talked about being in the garage of his home at Rancho Cucamonga. Is that what it was?
I forget the city, but it's southeast.
Okay.
That's where he lived at the time.
And you had at some point told him that maybe he should retain an attorney to handle the issues because he was going to be dealing with the United States Attorney Timothy Seawright. You remember having that conversation with him?
I don't think we threatened him or anything like that. We just advised him that, hey man, we got some information, we got some things that you're involved in, and we need to talk to you. So we need to meet with you, with your attorney, at the AUSA's office.
Now, at the time that you have that conversation with Mr. Davis, you advise him that not to bring his attorney, which would have been Edie Fall, to that conversation, right?
No.
You advised him to actually bring this other attorney, Wayne Higgins. That would have been a brand-new attorney for Mr. Davis, correct?
No. I didn't even know Mr. Higgins at that time.
Now, in terms of your, the meeting, Mr. Higgins shows up with Mr. Davis, and then there's a conversation between Mr. Higgins and Seawright regarding the proffer agreement, but that wasn't with you being present in the room, fair?
No. I wasn't
Okay.
present.
Now, you had, though, at some point being informed that there was a proffer agreement, and then there was follow-up interviews that occur as a result, right?
That's correct.
So this is just not one interview. This is multiple interviews.
Yes.
Now, can you tell us, for instance, how many interviews there were?
That I was involved in, the first meeting at his house in the garage, the first meeting with the AUSA, and then the meeting at Wayne Higgins. But mind you, like I told you, I flew to New York with Mr. Davis, so we were out there for 3 or 4 days.
I'm talking more about specifically the actual meetings in which you're sitting down and asking questions of Mr. Davis.
2.
So that would be the initial meeting with United States Attorney Seawright in the room, and then the second meeting was, I'm sorry, at what time?
That was with Mr. Higgins at his office on Wilshire Boulevard, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the date.
Okay, would that be October or December 18th,
2008.
2008?
Yes.
Do you recall actually being involved in a meeting or being knowledgeable of a meeting that took place on December 1st, 2008?
No.
How about a meeting that took place on January 7th, 2009?
I don't recall. No.
How about another meeting that occurred on February 11th, 2009?
I don't recall any of those dates.
Okay.
I just remember the 3 that we dealt with.
Right. And once again, you're refreshing your recollection off of a DEA 6 form, correct?
No, I'm refreshing my recollection off my recollection.
30 years later?
That's right. And about 20 murder trials.
Right.
Of my own.
Which is amazing. Good job.
It's not amazing, just doing my job.
But let's just make sure we're clear. I want to make sure this jury understands that you're refreshing recollection off of a DEA 6 form.
No. I told you the DA 6 form that I saw this morning was transferring the case from the DEA to Las Vegas Metro. That's all that's it this morning.
All right. So this is all purely off of your recollection from 30 years ago.
Well, 17, 18 years ago when we got it. The
Okay.
case was 30 years ago. So
Right.
we had it in 2006.
And 20 murder trials later,
That's right.
you're refreshing. Okay.
right.
So let's keep going through it. So your testimony here is that at the time of the meeting on December 18th, 2008, you were present for that meeting.
Yes.
And the other people that were present for that meeting was Detective Katie,
Yes.
LAPD Detective William Holcomb,
Yes.
FBI Special Agent Bennett,
Yes. I didn't mention him, but he was there. Yes.
okay, and then was anybody else there present?
Mr. Davis and Mr. Higgins.
And then outside of those, was anybody from the United States Attorney's Office present?
At the first one in 2008, I think, not in 2009. For sure not 2009, I can say that.
Okay, but I want to make sure we're precise for this jury. On December 18, 2008, was the United States Attorney present for that meeting?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, the recording that had occurred, and the one that you've introduced into evidence in this case, was that a recording to which Mr. Davis or his attorney knew about?
Which one, 2008 or 2009?
2008.
2008? I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't know it was being recorded either.
Sure. And with regard to the FBI special agent that was there, are you aware of what's called a 302?
Yes.
What is a 302?
It's a report, an information report that they write out, kind of like the DEA 6, kind of.
Yeah. And then in terms of how the 302 works is they don't actually record information with a recorder. They actually just write things down into the 302, right?
That's correct.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now World.